Hi everyone, it's Jen again. Sorry for being kind of missing in action the last couple weeks. To be honest, I really just didn't feel like I had anything new to talk about, and I didn't want to just make a video for the sake of making a video. I recorded a couple videos that, in hindsight, I was just kind of like, that's not really like related to the type of stuff I usually talk about, and it's not even that terribly interesting. Um, so whether or not I go back and I try to revisit those topics or not, I'm not sure. But at least for now, I really didn't feel like I wanted to post those videos. So I kind of held back and waited until I had something to talk about. So even though I was still working on my projects and stuff during the last couple of weeks, so this video is going to be kind of a little bit of an update of what I've been working on the last couple weeks, and just like kind of what I plan on working on in the next couple weeks going forward. So one of the things that I did after I finished the last big update for my game Arcane Dice Wars is I took a little break from the game, and I finished up this kind of sketch that I had of Katner that was just sitting on my iPad. I liked like the pose and the concept, so I went ahead and turned it into an illustration. I think I'm gonna probably want to do this for most of the characters. I think it would be fun to kind of make a little collection of illustrations. I used to do kind of the convention circuit when I was younger, and sold a lot of illustrations at the conventions. But to be honest, like in the last, I don't know how many years, I really haven't done illustration work anymore, because everything that I have been doing art-wise has been like an asset for like a game. So usually it's more like broken apart like pieces of things, like character just kind of like standing in empty space, background with no character in it, so they come together in a composition. But it's really not the same as like doing an illustration. So this sort of like was a little bit of a different mindset for me to be in, and it was kind of nostalgic going back and doing an illustration again, which I hadn't done in a long time. So yeah, I had fun doing this. I've been working on redoing backgrounds, so that they will be more kind of like cohesive and simpler and kind of like softer, so that the foreground characters can stand out more. These backgrounds are going to be for actually what I'm making this video for. So the thing that I wanted to talk about is the Otome Jam. So I participated in the Otome Jam a couple of years ago for my project demo of Soul Labyrinth. And during that time, I did make the entire game and all of the assets with the help of some of my teammates within the time frame of the 2 months. This year, they have expanded the amount of projects that are allowed to be submitted. So previously started games are allowed to be worked on and submitted as entries in order to give upcoming games more exposure and encourage people to work on unfinished games. So that is where my project is going to fall under, because even though I'm going to be making a new game for the Otome Jam this year, I am going to be reusing a lot of assets from my current project, because I had this idea to make sort of like an alternate universe of Arcane Dice Wares, where instead of the protagonist kind of being thrown in the dungeon and getting rescued by the anti-royalists, in this alternate universe, the protagonist will be working with the queen and her people. So it's going to be kind of a darker story, being that the queen and her people are really the villains of the main story. So it's gonna have it's probably gonna have a lot more death for starters. So I don't know, content warning for that. And because the villains are all very flawed and villainous characters, there's gonna be just a lot more events that happen that are not going to be like good things necessarily. But I thought it would be really interesting to kind of explore this other side of the characters and of the world that I created more from the perspective of the antagonist, because even if you've created a world where you are supposed to be sympathetic to one side and that you don't want to support the other side, I think it's still important to be able to know what that other side's perspective is in order to like give it a little bit more depth and make it a little bit more believable than just having really flat, just flat out evil characters that are just like evil for the sake of being evil. I don't think you generally run into those types of like story and characters that much anymore, because people usually are kind of craving something that has a little bit more, I guess, realism or explanation that seems a little bit more logical or feasible or relatable. I don't know where I'm going exactly with that. So, yeah, I started to kind of outline what I would be working on during this jam period. As I was saying before, I already have a lot of the assets made. So, Michaelis, the right hand of the queen, her knight commander. I already have all of his sprites done, including his battle sprite, his battle portrait sprite, and his kind of like romancing bonding sprite. The same with Jeth, her left hand and assassin. He has all of his sprites done as well. Dieta is going to be seen a lot more in this version of the story because she is cooperating with the royals at the beginning of the original Arcane Dice Wars. So you will be having her as a recruitable character. I went back and I made some adjustments to her portrait sprite, and I do have to go and make a battle sprite for her as well as a bonding sprite where she's dressed more casually. Same with Mieta the Queen. I have this portrait sprite of her, but I am going to be going through and editing it a little bit and adding some more expressions to it, and going to have to make her battle sprite as well as her romancing bonding sprite. So the three main love interests that you will be able to pursue in this alternate version of the game is going to be Michaelis, Jeth, and Mieta. You can create a relationship with Dieta, but I wouldn't say it's a full-fledged romance that it is for the other three characters. Unlike in the main story, you aren't going to be able to romance all three of them at the same time, just being that their personalities are a little bit less tolerant and less what is the word? They're a little bit more selfish and not willing to share the protagonist. You will be able to kind of like build a bond with all three of them at the same time, but at some point the player will have to commit to like one of them. But it is a much shorter game as well. So there are going to be just 3 chapters that mirror the original game. You will have like the dungeon for the first chapter, the forest from the second chapter, and then the third chapter, instead of going to the sewers, you will jump straight to the battle for Brookhaven. So overall, I would say like this game is a little bit more simplified than the original game, in the sense that you don't end up running into monsters or beasts at all, so that you don't have to deal with the beast mechanic. You won't be collecting money because you will basically start with a full army of the common units at your disposal, since you are working with the queen, and she will basically provide anything you need financially, so you really don't have to worry about earning money to progress like you do in the original game. So this is what I'm planning to do, and much like the first Otome Jam that I joined, I'll be keeping track of my progress on this YouTube channel, just so I can check in with you guys and let you know how my experience doing the jam is going. I don't think I will be working with anybody this time around, as like my project is pretty much set, and because going to be using a lot of the same assets, I don't really see any need to partner up with anybody in order to kind of like get this project finished within this time frame, given how many of the assets that I already have created. So that said, thanks very much for watching my videos. Noticed like a couple weeks ago, YouTube sent me a message that said, that I had reached 500 subscribers, and I kind of expected to like immediately the next day for it to go back under, because I don't know why 500 people would subscribe to my channel or want to watch my videos that aren't that terribly entertaining or even that informative in comparison to a lot of really good videos out there that I myself would listen to or watch in order to like learn how to do things better. But thanks for watching and for subscribing, and yeah, I really appreciate that willingness to make a connection with somebody just like myself who doesn't really have anything super special to share, but yeah, thanks anyways, and I hope that you are having a good day, a good week, a good month, a good future, and if you're working on anything, that you don't forget to enjoy that process. Okay, take care. Bye.